Okay, let's be real for a second. Grammar rules? It's kind of boring, right? Well, forget everything you think you know, because today we're not talking about rules. We're talking about tools, the 8 essential tools you need to build basically any sentence you can dream up. No, seriously, have you ever really stopped to think about how we take all these words floating around in our heads and assemble them into something that actually makes sense? It's not magic, I promise. It's more like construction. And that's going to be our big idea here. Picture yourself as a builder, an architect of language. And just like any good builder, before you can create something amazing, you need to know exactly what each tool in your toolkit is for. And here's the best part. There are only 8 main tools. That's it. Just 8 parts of speech that do all the heavy lifting in the English language. Once you get a handle on these, you can literally build anything. So where do we start? Well, every solid structure needs a foundation, right? And in language, that foundation always comes down to 2 things: nouns and verbs. You absolutely cannot have a sentence without these 2. First up, you've got to have something to talk about. That's the whole job of a noun. They're the concrete blocks of your sentence. They name the who or the what of your idea. And this can be anything. A person, like Maria. A place, like a city. A physical object, like a book. Or even a big abstract idea, like justice. Basically, if you could put a name on it, it's a noun. Simple as that. But a noun all by itself is, well, it's just a word sitting there. It's not doing anything. That's where verbs come in. Verbs are the engine. They give the noun life, telling us what it's doing or what it is. And boom, just like that, we take one noun, cat, and one verb, slept, and we've built our very first complete sentence. It's a full thought. It's simple, sure, but this is our foundation. Now, let's start building on it. Okay, our basic frame is up. It's solid. But now it's time for the fun part, adding some details, some personality. This is where we grab our next 2 tools, adjectives and adverbs. These are what give our building character. Adjectives are kind of like the paint color or the architectural style. They give us more information about our nouns. They answer questions like, okay, but what kind of cat are we talking about here? See what just happened? By adding that one little word, lazy, the picture in your head instantly becomes clearer. It's not just any old cat anymore, it's the lazy cat. We're getting specific. Now, adverbs also add detail, but they have a different job. They modify the action, the verb. They tell us how, or when, or where that action is happening. They're like the fine-tuning for our sentence's engine. So we have to ask, how did the cat sleep? It slept soundly. See how that one word adds this whole new layer of precision to the action itself? Our sentence is getting richer and more descriptive with every tool we use. Now, this is a super common point of confusion, but let's just nail it down right now. It's actually really simple. Adjectives describe nouns, the things. Adverbs describe verbs, the actions. Lazy describes the cat, soundly describes how it slept. One's about the what, the other's about the how. All right, our little sentence is looking pretty good. It's descriptive, but right now it's just kind of floating in space. To make it really work, we need to connect it to other ideas and give it some context. We need the connective tissue. I like to think of prepositions as the GPS of a sentence. They tell you where or when something is happening in relation to something else. We're talking about little words like on, in, under, after, and before. And there we go. Where did the cat sleep? On the mat. That tiny preposition, on, just connected our sleeping cat to a physical location, giving our whole sentence some real-world context. Next up, conjunctions. Now these are the nails, the bolts, the glue of our language toolkit. Their job is so important. They connect things together. Think of words like and, but, or. They build bridges between ideas. So by adding and, we've suddenly made our building bigger. We've bridged our first idea to a second one. The lazy cat dreamed. But hang on, listen to that. The lazy cat and the lazy cat. It sounds a bit repetitive, doesn't it? Well, our next tool is going to fix that. We are so close. Our structure is strong, it's descriptive, it's connected. All that's left now are the finishing touches. The small but really important tools that add efficiency and, a little bit of flair. Pronouns are one of my favorite tools because they're such clever shortcuts. They're what we use to fix that clunky repetition we just created. Instead of saying the lazy cat over and over, we can just swap in a substitute, like it, he, or she. And there's the fix. It's so much cleaner. We just replace that second the lazy cat with a pronoun it. Now the sentence flows, the lazy cat slept soundly on the mat and it dreamed. So much smoother. And that brings us to our final tool, the interjection. Think of these as little bursts of feeling. Words like wow, oh, or hey. They're not technically part of the sentence's structure. They're more like an emotional exclamation point you can stick on to add some personality. Let's pop one onto the front of our sentence. Okay, let's step back and admire our handiwork. This table puts it all together, breaking down our final sentence. Wow, the lazy cat slept soundly on the mat and it dreamed. We've got the emotion from the interjection, wow. The noun cat is described by the adjective lazy. It's doing two actions, the verbs slept and dreamed. The adverb soundly tells us how it slept. The preposition on places it on the noun mat. The conjunction and connects the two ideas, and the pronoun it makes it all flow smoothly. We've used every single one of our 8 tools. And that's really what this is all about. These 8 parts of speech aren't just a list of things to memorize for a test. They're a powerful, creative toolkit. They're the fundamental building blocks you can use to construct your thoughts, to share your stories, to make your point. So the only question left is, now that you have the tools, what are you going to build?